Hello, welcome to story time. Let's do our opening song. We make the sign for hello and the sign for friends. Hello, friends. Hello, friends. Hello, friends. It's time to read a book. It's nice to be with you today. I think maybe some of you have realized that some pretty exciting news happened last week, and our country landed a rover, a moving robot on another planet, on Mars. Have you heard about that already? So I thought we might read some books about Mars. Well, mainly about exploring other planets and things like that. I know we've read some books about space already this pandemic year, but there's some pretty cool stuff happening. So we'll just read some more, and maybe read one of them again. So as you know, we live on the planet Earth, right? Here's the sun, and this blue one is our Earth. So our Earth is 1, 2, 3. It's the third planet away from the sun, right? There's Mercury and Venus and Earth. We're the third one. And then the next planet, the fourth one, is Mars. And so all of these planets are orbiting the sun at different rates. Earth is going around the sun. Mars is going around the sun, a little bit farther away from the sun, right? And one interesting thing about Mars, you know how we have one little moon that we see every night? Mars has 2 moons. How about that? Yeah. And the Earth, where we live, is almost 93 million miles away from the sun. So from here to our Earth is 93 million miles. That's a lot. But Mars is even more. It is almost 141.5 million miles. So it's even farther away from the sun. And going all those millions of miles takes a lot of work, right? It takes a lot of engineering and a lot of astronauts and a lot of all kinds of technology, basically. And the exciting thing is, this week or last week, we were able to land something on Mars. I thought maybe I'd show you a couple pictures of it before maybe you've seen these on TV, but this is called, the name of it is Perseverance. That's what the scientists named. It's basically a moving robot. It's about the size of a car. And this is what landed on Mars after being taken out into space on a rocket, right? So this, you can see the kind of the strings here. Those are the strings that are going up to the parachute that was helping it land safely. So that's Perseverance, a robot with 6 wheels that landed on Mars. And here is a cool picture. Here's a cool picture. Very close up, you can see this wheel right here. That's one of these wheels here. And then you can see what the camera on the robot was looking at when it first landed. Pretty cool, huh? Mars looks pretty sandy or rocky. I don't see too many, no trees or anything like that, right? Because we're not sure if there's any water on Mars. I think they think there's some water, but not a lot, right? We'll see. More exploring needs to be done. And then, on this rover, Perseverance, there are all kinds of interesting instruments and scientific tools, and cameras, right? And even a small helicopter is on there And one of the things they're hoping to do is have a remote, it's almost like a remote control helicopter, fly around and take pictures of Mars. We'll see if it works. That's what science is all about, trying all these new things, right? And here is the very first picture that Perseverance sent back to Earth, to the scientists waiting, of what Mars is looking like today. At least the part of Mars where the Perseverance is. So yeah, very interesting, right? You can see it's a little bit reddish. That's because the dirt on Mars is pretty red. I guess I'll go like this. The dust, so it looks red from our vantage point. So let's read some books. The first one is called When Sparks Fly: The True Story of Robert Goddard, the Father of U.S. Rocketry. It's written by Kristen Fulton and illustrated by Diego Funk. On a cool October morning in 1882, so that was about 140 years ago, the tiny town of Worcester, Massachusetts got a new neighbor. He was small and pale, but his eyes flashed with a spark of curiosity and discovery. His name was Robert Goddard. When Robert was 3 years old, he learned that he could make static electricity. He dragged his stocking-covered feet across the carpet. The tiny jolt of shock ignited his curiosity. Have you guys ever made static electricity? Kind of gives you a shock, and sometimes it makes your hair stand up, right? When it was time to start school, Robert was too sick to go. Oh no. Many days he found it hard to catch his breath. His lungs felt tight, and with every breath he took, he whistled. The doctor called it wheezing. His parents wanted him to learn, so they gave him a cardboard box full of science equipment. He even got a subscription to Scientific American magazine. Every day, Robert journaled about his experiments, and every week a new magazine arrived full of the latest discoveries. Robert wanted one of those inventions to be his. In one issue, Robert read about diamonds. He learned that they were made from hardened carbon. The dozens of pencils lining his desk caught Robert's eyes as he read. If pencils were full of graphite, that's what the lead is made of, right? And graphite was made from carbon, could Robert make diamonds from pencils? Robert grabbed his science kit, broke open each pencil, and scraped out the graphite. He emptied a small vial of hydrogen into a pan and added the slivers of graphite. He twisted the knob on the oxygen tank he used for breathing, and a flame flickered under the pan. The graphite grew hotter and hotter and bigger. Boom! Robert hustled to his desk and scribbled in his journal, "Hydrogen and oxygen, when combined near a flame, will ignite." You notice what he has on his face? Safety glasses, right? To protect his eyes when he's doing experiments. So scientists, when they're mixing chemicals and doing experiments, wear safety goggles to protect their face and their eyes especially. His experiment didn't make diamonds, but it wasn't a failure. He learned something. Explosive. As Robert grew, so did his curiosity. One day, Robert climbed his favorite tree to read his favorite book, The War of the Worlds by H.G. Wells. Within the first few pages, he was lost in a world full of Martians and aliens flying to Earth in giant spaceships. Robert wondered if he could build something that would soar to space. The next morning, Robert ordered fireworks from China, signal flares from Germany, and flaming arrows from England. When the boxes arrived, he had one burning question: what made these small rockets soar? He traced their shapes. He examined each fuse and dissected all the explosive ingredients. Robert researched, designed, and tinkered. His first rocket was ready to go. Robert walked to the meadow behind his house and set up for his first launch. After tying a high-flying balloon powered by solar energy from the sun, to his rocket, Robert watched it lift off. Would this work? Pop! It fell from the sky. His first try didn't work. That's pretty common. Month after month, he crafted, he built, he finished rocket number 2. The new rocket was shaped like a cylinder, like a paper towel tube, with a pointed nozzle. He filled it with gunpowder and lit the fuse. Would this work? Bam! It exploded. He's trying to make something that will fly up in the air like a, he's trying to make the first rocket, basically. And that one didn't work. Number 2 didn't work. It just exploded on the ground. Determined to figure it out, Robert sat down at his drawing board. He drafted. That means he drew plans. He framed. He completed his 3rd rocket. This rocket was shaped like a triangle with fins. He used gasoline to make it fly. Bang! It crashed and burned. Year after year, rocket after rocket, Robert wrote in his journal, cylinder shapes work best. This is a cylinder, right? Gunpowder burns too fast. Fins help stability. So it helps to have fins like a fish to help keep it stable. And each failure taught Robert something new. Each failure brought him closer to his dream of soaring to space. Still, none of his rockets flew the way he wanted. Something was missing. See how many years have gone by? He's gotten much older, right? Robert leafed through the pages of his old journals from when he was a kid. There it was. In his very first journal was the diamond explosion entry, excuse me, and the mistake he had made from combining hydrogen, oxygen, and a flame. Robert had a whole new idea for rocket number 4. On March 16th, 1926, so that was almost 100 years ago. It was like 95 years ago. A cold day, sort of like here, right? Robert's newly built rocket was positioned in the meadow. You can tell it's a cylinder almost. He held the release cord. A blowtorch ignited the long fuse that trailed from the rocket, which was full of hydrogen and oxygen. The fuse burned. The rocket rumbled. A bright white flame shot from the bottom of the rocket. The cord released, and the rocket soared. Mission accomplished. He did it. He figured out what combination of elements had to be there to make a rocket go into space, or go up in the air anyway. Robert's extensive rocket research launched the way for every shuttle that has blasted into space, every astronaut who has defied gravity, and every man who has walked on the moon. All because of a curious boy who discovered how to let sparks fly. So the rocket that sent Perseverance to Mars was just another form, a more updated form of the type of rocket that Robert Goddard discovered, or invented, I should say. Yeah, back almost 100 years ago. Very cool. I'm glad he was curious, right? Now this book, I know we read this a few weeks ago, Life on Mars by John Agee, right? I know we read it a few weeks ago, and I hesitated to read it again, but another bookseller reminded me, kids love to read books more than once, and so do I, right? So I'm going to read it again, because it's about life on Mars, although it's an imaginary book, right? But even though it's an imaginary book, it does look, the setting looks a little bit like the pictures we're getting from Mars today, don't you think? Yeah. Now, so far, no human beings, no people have landed on Mars, but maybe during my lifetime, probably during your lifetime, right? Maybe one of you or someone that you know will be able to go to Mars. Who knows? Okay, he says, I am on Mars. I have traveled a long way from Earth. I am here to find life. Everybody thinks I'm crazy. Nobody believes there is life on Mars, but I do, and I just know that I'm going to find it. He walks along. Did he miss something? So far, Mars looks pretty gloomy. More gloomy than I thought. I'm starting to wonder, could anything possibly live here? I don't know, what do you think? Could anything possibly live in that environment? It's dark. It's cold. I've brought this gift of chocolate cupcakes. I don't think I'll find anybody to eat them. Wow, I was wrong. Mars is nothing but miles and miles of rocks and dirt. It's obvious nothing could possibly live here. What a disaster. Everybody was right. There is no life on Mars. I'm going home immediately. He dropped his cupcakes. Uh-oh. Where is my spaceship? I can't believe it. I'm lost. Lost on Mars where there is no life? Wait a minute. What's that? No way. It's life. It's on Mars and it's alive? What an amazing discovery. I can't wait to get back to Earth and show everybody what I found. And look, my box of chocolate cupcakes. How did it get there? Now I've got to find my spaceship. I bet I'll get a good view from the top of that mountain. Aha! There it is. What an adventure. I always believed there was life on Mars, and I was right. I think I deserve a treat. I think he's going to be sorely disappointed. No chocolate cupcakes for him, right? Did you know that there are 2 other countries that have recently sent rockets to Mars, and China and the United Arab Emirates, and they have their rockets are in orbit around Mars, going around and around Mars right now. So the United States and China and the United Arab Emirates are all exploring Mars and what it's like up there. Yeah. And did you know that because the gravity, which keeps all of us tethered to the Earth, right? Gravity is weaker on Mars than it is on Earth. So if you can jump like this far, let's say you can jump this far off the ground, right? On Earth, if you were on Mars, you could jump 3 times that high because of weaker gravity. So let's see, about like, if you were on Mars, you could jump about, you probably can't see that, you could jump about this high because so gravity is so much weaker. Like normally you could do this high, on Mars you could do that much. That'd be pretty fun, wouldn't it? Be bouncing around sort of like in one of those bounce houses. Let's do Zoom Zoom before we read our last book. Should we try, even though it won't rhyme, should we try to zoom to Mars instead of the moon? That'd be kind of funny. Let's do it. Zoom, 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 we're going to Mars. Zoom, 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 we're going to Mars. If you want to take a trip, climb aboard my rocket ship. Zoom, 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 we're going to Mars. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, blast off! Fun. I can't wait to see more pictures that Perseverance sends back from Mars. It'll be interesting to see what it finds. This book is called May Among the Stars. It's written by Rhoda Ahmed and illustrated by Stasia Burrington. And May is an astronaut, and she is a real person. So it's about a real person named Mae Jemison, who is one of our astronauts. So she is discovering new things. Helping all of us discover new things, right? Little May was a dreamer. Remember a few weeks ago we read books about people with big dreams. Well, little May was a person with big dreams. They say that daydreamers never succeed, but little May was different. One day, May was working on an assignment for school about what she wanted to be when she grew up. What will you tell them, May? I will tell them I want to see Earth. This is Earth, May, her mother said. The flowers, the grass, the forests, and the mountains, we live on Earth. I know, but I want to see Earth from out there. That's an amazing plan, little May. Then you have to become an astronaut. That way you can see Earth from space. Astronaut? Do you think I could do that? Of course you can. If you can dream it, if you believe it, and work hard for it, anything is possible. May asked her mom to take her to the library. She searched for books about space and astronauts. Look at her wagon. Full of books. I love it. After dinner, May drew pictures of space, and she even made her own astronaut costume out of old orange curtains and cardboard boxes. Later, she asked her dad, "But how do I become an astronaut? It seems impossible." You'll find your way, May, because if you dream it, believe in it, and work hard for it, anything is possible. Dream it, believe it, and work hard for it. But space is so far away. It's closer than you think, little May, and you may get there sooner than you think. See the telescope they're using to look out at the stars and other planets? That night, May had a happy dream. She was dancing in space, surrounded by billions of sparkling stars. Below her, she could see Earth floating and turning like a shining crystal ball. Here she is, tethered to a rocket, and she's floating out in space, and she can see Earth. That's in her dream. The next morning, May told her parents about her dream. She wanted to tell everyone, looks like she's calling her grandma, and every time she talked about it, her eyes would light up. She's even telling her cat. In the classroom, Miss Bell told everyone to stand in a line on the rug. Today, we are all going to share our dreams about the future. What do you want to be, and what do you want to do when you grow up? Who wants to go first? I want to be a firefighter. I want to be a teacher. I want a football player. I want to be a mom. I want to go to space. I want to be an astronaut. There's May. All the kids started laughing. Miss Bell asked, May, are you sure you don't want to be a nurse? Nursing would be a good profession for someone like you. What? I don't want to be a nurse. I want to be an astronaut. May felt very disappointed. On her way home from school, May was quiet. She looked out the car window. Her world turned blue and cold. Nothing was the way it used to be. At home, May started crying. Miss Bell said, I can't become an astronaut. What a silly thing to say, said her mother. She told me I should be a nurse instead, said May. Her mom wiped away her tears. My dear May, I hope you didn't believe her. Of course I believed her. She's my teacher. I'm sorry Miss Bell didn't encourage you, but she can't stop you. No one can stop you. Follow your dream, May, and go to space. Thank you, Mom. I promise when I get to space, I will wave to you and Dad from the spaceship. Her mom took her hand and they started dancing. You must always repeat to yourself, if I can dream it, if I can believe in it, and if I work hard for it, anything is possible. If I can dream it, if I can believe in it, if I can work hard for it. May went on dreaming, believing, and working really hard, and guess what? She went to space and waved to her mom and dad on Earth. That's pretty cool. Maybe someday, May Jameson, or maybe you, will get to go to Mars. Who knows? Thanks for joining me at Storytime. I hope you're having a wonderful week. I miss you. Let's sing our goodbye song. Goodbye, friends. Goodbye, friends. Goodbye, friends. It's time to say goodbye. Have a great week.